Welcome back to your OPL Saturday for round 9, final round of the regular OPL split. If you're just joining us, Sin proved too strong for Legacy, beating them 2-1. But we're about to get into our second match of the day, Jish and T-Gun. It's going to be Abyss taking on Regicide. And Regicide looking to kind of move up the table potentially, or I would say just avoid your guys, TM, taking over them if they can take a game today.
Yeah, what we need to do is get 1 point more than Regicide, so hopefully they get 0 points. Makes my life easy. But that's exactly what they need to do. If they 2-0 here, they solidify themselves into that 6th-7th place match in the relegation format, which is a really big luxury. So they really need to prove themselves today.
So this is currently the 6th versus 7th place teams in the OPL, and could be a preview of that 6th versus 7th match we might see later on. So, Jish, do you think that these teams will be holding their cards very close to their chest for this match, or do you think they'll be trying to show things and just get out some easy wins?
Yeah, no, I think both teams, in my opinion, should be looking towards just winning this round. I think that they're given enough time, to actually prepare new strategies and look for different alternatives after this week, and I think that, that's personally what I think they should be doing, but I guess I can't speak for them.
They can do whatever they want.
The only team that could hide stuff is Abyss, because it doesn't really change their placing. But Regicide, they need to come away with as many points as they can, so they can't afford to do that.
Well, do you have any advice for Regicide then? Some genuine advice. Do you have any advice for Abyss then?
Best of luck to Regicide. I mean, I hope they play their best. I'm not going to sit here and hope they play poorly. But I don't want them to win.
He expects more of the enemy team than I do.
I just don't want them to win.
You guys can lose, it's fine.
They can play extremely well. I just hope Abyss plays better.
See, you see, in game 1 today, Jish was like, look, I need Sin to take a point. I don't care what Legacy does. This is what's best for my team. He tweets out during the broadcast, hashtag do it for Jish.
Hashtag win for Jish. That's a fair tweet. I needed my second team, because obviously my team's Chiefs, but I need my second team, Sin, to win.
All right, okay. So, T, got any closing thoughts before we go into these lineups?
No.
All right, let's take a look at Regicide's lineup before we get into this first match. Their top laner is ZZZ, who has been absolutely popping off. Yele is their jungler, who is stepping in for their regular jungler. Fade, who is currently ill. Human is their mid laner. Their AD carry is Kedu, and Chenchuan is their support player. And this is a Regicide lineup that has seen a lot of changes. And you can see there, we didn't even get photos of these guys at the start of the split because they weren't part of their regular team. So now we have not seen a lot of consistency out of this Regicide lineup, Jish.
Yeah, so for me, I think the biggest point to talk about is Yele over Fade, because each week we've sort of have spoken about how ZZZ and Fade look like quite a good 2v2 in the top jungle duo, and I think that a lot of their wins, especially that Nutty Kha'Zix performance, went 12-3 or something, I think has came from Fade. And not to say that Yele is a terrible player by any means, but I think that he doesn't have that X factor that we've seen Fade bring to the OPL.
Yeah. For me, just in roster changes, it's just been, they've found better players who couldn't play earlier. Kedu just recently turned 17. Chenchuan also, I believe, wasn't eligible for the first few weeks. So while there has been a lot of roster changes, it's not just because they didn't mesh or because they weren't happy with them. It's just been extenuating circumstances that they needed to overcome.
And they've also been able to accrue a full Mandarin-speaking roster now, which is presumably going to help their team comms. Meanwhile, their opponents across the rift are Abyss. And let's go through their line, shall we? Their top laner, speaking of people who have recently aged into the OPL, Pabu is their top laner. Their jungler is Seb. Luch is their mid laner. Their AD carry is Raid. And Rosie is their support player. Do you feel like we're going to see some more unconventional support plays out of Rosie? Maybe we'll see the, I don't know. What's the most unconventional support we've seen right now?
I mean, he's played what, like
Bar, Galio,
he's played Galio.
Yeah, he played Galio support earlier in the split.
Cannon.
Anyone that plays Galio support is just too silly.
Too silly. Have you played it? Have you played it?
Don't want to talk about it.
All right. Before we get into this, let me get you guys' predictions. Jish, are Abyss going to take this one? Or
yeah, I think. Not saying this just because they looked good against us in game 1.
Absolutely.
I think that
on the
Abyss,
Nexus.
Yeah, they got real close to winning that 2 times in a row now.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I think Abyss will take this one, and I think it'll be 2-0.
Abyss 2-0 for
Tiga.
Just for me. That's my reasoning. I need it to happen.
All right, let's take a look at your tips then, opltips.com.au. And Abyss, heavy favourites to take this one out. And 8% of people think that Regicide can take this as a 2-0. I will say, that's
a record.
That's a record. that's also more people than thought Sin could 2-0 Legacy. So, you know, I'm just saying the true believers of Regicide are growing every week. Well done, everybody.
Regicide have literally
close.
never gotten that many votes, I'm sure. I'm certain they've never got that many votes.
I don't want to...
Even against TM, I don't think they've ever gotten that many votes.
I can't comment.
If you're in the tipping competition, you can, in the top 200, you'll get some prizes come the end of the split. But for right now, if you sign up to Uber Eats with the code that's on your screen right now, you can get $10 off your next Uber Eats order for a new account. So get involved and get amongst that. Tweet at us, #ImOPL, or let us know in Twitch chat what summoner spell would you add to the game. But for now, it's time for us to get into our second match of the day with your casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thanks, guys. I'm Matthew Fish. Joining me is Jake Sponterberry. About to get into the second match of today. Abyss taking on Regicide. Last time we saw these two teams face off, Regicide lost all their bans, but they still got a single map victory.
Yeah, they certainly did, so we'll see whether they can replicate it. I thought of my summoner spell.
Okay.
Do you know how you can smoke up in another game? Like, you know, throw the smoke down, all your players go invisible for a certain amount of time?
Yep.
That is my new summoner spell.
So you want Graves' smoke screen that just denies the vision of your team?
No, not deny vision. Like, what I'm saying is, like, it's Dota 2. Like, let's just call it the spade a spade. You can smoke your team in Dota 2, which means that
so
they can
everyone
run
goes
around
invisible.
stealthed. I want that to be the summoner spell. So the support takes it, and you all group together in a little huddle, and then you have, like, you know, 5 seconds of stealth or something. That would be baller.
Tegan was just holding up a notepad that said Akali's W.
Yeah. But, like, you can move with it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be really, really dope. Like, I'm calling it. I'm getting on it.
How would you like, what would be the fair interaction from the other team? Like, do pink wards spot you out?
Yeah,
Can you
pink
sweep
wards
it?
spot you out. If they sweep you, they can spot you out. If you get within range, which is the way the new stealth mechanic works, that it can spot you out. But it would be cool, and you would have to stay close to your support, so you would have to be clustered up. So if they saw you do it, like, all of a sudden you get nailed by Sejuani ultimate, and Malphite flies out of left screen and stuff like that.
So you think that'd be a support summoner spell?
Yeah.
So to speak. Remove, like, the ignite or the heal.
Yep.
Cool. I like that one. I still think just bring back Fortify. That
You are so boring.
Look,
do you know what I'm going to do with my one wish? I'm going to wish that I can bring back something that's gone.
I mean,
Move on, Fish.
We took Fortify out of the game before turrets became such an
Quit
important
living in the
objective.
past.
Now it's so important. Bring it back.
Quit living in the past.
Give the spell a chance.
Yeah, back to this game.
Or Surge. Oh, Surge was a fun ability. Put it on his
Just
ear
made
now.
you bigger. That's the only reason I ever took Surge, was when I wanted to be tall.
You only ever saw it picked up by, like, Fizz. Like Surge Ignite Fizz.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Jax played it for a bit.
True.
Yee played it. There was actually lots of people that used Surge, actually.
Be great for Azir. Like, oof, good summer.
Anyway,
sadly
what I was
it
going to talk about is this game, Suman has to play well. He's had a couple of really poor performances lately, Suman. And going into Luch, who also has been a little bit lackluster at times, to be honest, Fish. Certainly needs to have a better performance today than what we've seen. Keto as well as Chenchuan. Also need to be able to step their game up because they are going to lose a lot of the pressure that they get from Johnson early game as Yele steps in.
Do you think that's going to be a big impact, having Yele in the jungle? Because
Yes.
he's looked fine in his games. He's just not fade.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't get to start your starting 5, is the impact big? Yes. I mean, you're losing 20% of your starting roster, which is, you know, a pretty big deal. Yele hasn't looked all that impressive, to be honest. Going up against Seb, who's also had some rocky up and down kind of games. We'll see whether they can actually try and bully the Abyss esports jungler, because last week, was it Regicide versus Chiefs last week, where Fade was like 5 kills?
On Sejuani.
Yeah, absolutely pummeling them for the first little bit of the game.
ZZZ as well looked okay in that match.
Yeah,
second game didn't do too well.
Solo kill onto Swiper, I believe, in the Aurelia versus Gnar. Obviously a big counter matchup, but able to bully around the Armored Titan. Swiper, the second game on Gnar, was absolutely amazing. So, you know, if we're going to say that he got solo killed, we should probably talk about the next game performance as well. But as we're waiting to get into this game, pressure on Regicide. Abyss don't really have to do anything. They can't move out of that 6th place spot. Regicide, however, need to put some distance between themselves and TM Gaming because Avant tomorrow really aren't playing for all that much Fish.
They should be locked in as 5th, no matter what the games play out as. And they'll be hiding everything they possibly can to go up against the undecided 4th seed team.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So if Chiefs 2-0 tomorrow, they finish 1st. If they 2-1, I believe they finish 2nd. If they 1-2, they finish third, and if they 0-2, they finish fourth. So Chiefs can literally finish anywhere in the gauntlet apart from fifth.
Choose your own adventure.
I personally would love to see them finish fourth, just because watching the Chiefs run the gauntlet would be incredibly entertaining. Or maybe just getting eliminated first round, which would make me laugh at them a lot. So, you know, we'll see whether the defending champions from last year's final, split 2, of course, Dire Wolves are a big team to play in week 9. But if the Chiefs somehow do manage to beat them and go straight through to that grand final, boy, oh boy, does that make it a pretty exciting matchup.
Yeah. Coach Josh will definitely be looking for that 2-0. He doesn't want his dreams to become memes again.
What do you mean again?
4th place. Oof.
He wasn't here last time.
Yeah, 7th place. Oof.
You're brutal. Where did you finish?
What do you mean?
Was that a hard question?
I wasn't in it. That's why I stay away from playing computer games. I mean, I had Frostgurn yelling at me all morning this morning. It was a frightening experience.
No, you said it was the best you've ever played.
Yeah, but it was a frightening experience.
Don't lie to the people on camera.
It was the best I've ever played League of Legends in my life. Frostgurn's a great coach. Helped me out on solo queue. Won that game because of her. But it was the most frightening experience I've ever gone through ever. 10-10 will do it again.
You are weird. You are a weird unit.
Well, we've solved the audio difficulties that we were having before we go into Champions Select here, so we're now into the first game between Regicide and Abyss, and they've had weird stories spawn. I mean, Regicide, new into the league, we expected great things out of them. First few weeks, they looked like they were slowly improving, taking a couple of maps off people, but towards the end of the split, just seems like they haven't done enough. Whereas Abyss, split 1, I mean, they haven't had Luch. They had Frey playing for them for quite some time. You know, they brought in Pabu, Rosie as well. And like, this is the split where Abyss trying to push for top 4. And they haven't done it.
Hashtag Pac-Man wasn't the problem still for Abyss Esports. I miss my Kiwi top laner for Abyss. However, I think that they have slowly gotten better. I think that man on your screen has a lot to do with that. He had a couple of good Camille games, a couple of good split-pushing games, but also willingness to pick up some cheesy things like the Pantheon and jump around Summoner's Rift. I've enjoyed watching Pabu play this split fish.
He's been trying to do the best of both worlds, playing a lot of split pushes, a lot of team fighting tanks as well. And speaking of those tanks, Maokai, Zac, and Gragas all banned out by Regicide. They should first pick Sejuani here. I was about to say that, thinking it was Fade. It's not. And without Fade in the jungle, they still have a lot of target bans towards Regicide. Renekton with Lee Sin and Nidalee banned out by Abyss. Sejuani does get locked in for Yele.
I mean, the Renekton ban makes sense. ZZZ is a monster on the Croc in the top laner. Getting rid of Yele's comfort also makes a lot of sense. If you're a substitute player, you want to be able to disrupt that. I would expect a Kalista Rakan lane or something along those lines. I don't think that this is smart because they've already picked their jungler and now they can lock in Xayah Rakan on the side of Regicide if they want to and go absolutely bonkers in the bottom lane. We've already seen it once today, Fish. It does damage.
I think that's pretty poor drafting here from Abyss unless they're trying to hide something for their final pick and first rotation.
Potentially they want to play the Kalista Kennen lane and they think Kennen into Rakan is okay.
I mean, I would have liked this if Regicide didn't show their jungler because Seb is the Elise player.
Braum.
That's still left up, and we've already talked heavily about the interaction between these two champions' passives. Locked in for Regicide, they should pick up an 80 carry here.
Yeah, they certainly should, unless they want to hide Kedu's pick, in which case you can take one of the picks that Human likes to play. So either Ari, Vladimir, LeBlanc are the 3 that I'm talking about. That I would only expect that if they were going to play something like a Kog'Maw, to be honest, Fish. Otherwise, of course, you can be target banned out. I like the Xayah.
Picked up for Kedu. Regicide have changed their bottom lane quite a bit during the season. This seems like the...
K-pop, Decoy, Chen Xuan. And then Chenny Boy and Kedu.
And this seems like the final iteration of their bottom lane they wanted. Kennen gets locked in for Abyss, so maybe that's why they were hiding it?
Yeah, maybe. I didn't like it last week when they played it, to be honest. It looked a little bit sloppy, but obviously with a week's more practice, see whether it can come out. A lot of magic damage so far.
But would you still... I don't agree with the Kennen over... What's his name? Rakan.
Yeah, Rakan, they should have picked him.
But they didn't. Hingers gives you an audible boo there.
I just got booed. Dad jokes are great, Hingers. Don't be jealous of my comedic prowess. I really want Hingers to cast a game.
Ooh, that'd be fun. He thought he was going to when Carbon had to use the bathroom in one of our series.
Would he be a play-by-play or a color caster?
You know, I think he'd come in as the first host of a cast. He'd sit there and ask questions and just be confused the whole time.
What do you do?
That's
You're a
actually,
host.
That's me.
I just figured out what Fisher's new title is, a host.
Can we get that changed to the lower third? You know, just host. Matthew host Stewart. That'd be great.
Is that like play-by-play Jake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Play-by-play Jake. Interesting.
That's the best name. From Spawn is my colorcaster moniker. Play-by-play Jake. Is obviously my play-by-play moniker.
Not play-by-play Spawn?
No. What? Were you delusional last week?
Yes, I was.
Very sick.
I was very sick last week. I thought I'd cast. I almost fainted. But a couple of interesting bans from Abyss here. Echo is taken away with Galio, the second ban, and Regicide decide not to ban.
Yeah, they pass. So maybe a Syndra pickup here for Luch. Kind of the two big counters to Syndra are, of course, going to be Echo and Galio. You know, maybe Fizz can get locked in.
It's a big T-gun special. Missing
Orianna.
the draft. That gets
Now
locked
I'm
in
just
for
confused.
Luch.
Maybe ZZZ's just been spamming Echo and solo queue. Something along those lines.
I'm just confused as to what they're trying to do here. Let's see what Regicide decided to pick up for
I would
Suman.
like to see a Zed. That would be very exciting.
So Assassin, one of Suman's comfort picks. Cassidy makes more
Not
sense.
as exciting. Does it? Why does Cassidy make more sense, Fish?
Does well into Orianna.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. And?
That's it. I thought
Alright.
Zed doesn't do too well into Orianna, but I don't know mid lane. Mid lane's the lane that I just know nothing about except for Cassidy counters most majors.
Certainly does. I think that Zed has more kill threat early onto the game, and that if you was Regicide, you definitely want an early advantage. You don't really want this going down to team fights. Cassidy needs, 2.5, 3 items to come online, and I don't think Regicide have really been 50-50 in games up into the 30 minutes. They have gone with Jarvan also in the top lane. That's a good lane bully at the moment. Kled is available if Pabu wants to play the traditional counter.
They saved last pick for Pabu. They don't have any big
he's playing
frontline
Kennen.
threats. True. They can still flex it, but say Camille does get picked up, so split pushing team comp for Abyss without a front line.
Yep. So high execution comp going to have to come out. Good one for, Kennen plus Orianna is a very nice wombo combo. At the same time, big 1-3-1 coming out of Regicide. Not all that much wave clear in the 3, but good anti-dive out of Braum and Sejuani. So both comps playing towards pretty specific win conditions here, Fish. I personally think the Regicide comp is better. However, I don't like the Cassidy.
Let's see how Suman does, because...
You watch, he's going to pop off. He's going to like 15, 0, 9 Cassidy, 25 stack Mejai's, one-shotting Rosie.
I mean, if it's a comfort pick for Suman, that's exactly what they need in their last match, a regular split of the OPL. They just need to stay a map ahead of TM to go into the...
Well, they don't even actually need to stay a map ahead of TM. They just need to stay equal with TM.
Yep.
So TM doesn't have the head-to-head. So, at the moment, they are in the 6th versus 7th match. Obviously, don't have side selection or anything like that. But it would be great to pick up a victory here and be able... Matthew host Stuart, that's hilarious. And be able to pick up, the mental game at least over Abyss.
Yeah, definitely would. And if TM can't pick up a single win tomorrow against AV, this is going to be the 6 versus 7 match in the first game of Promarello. So both teams, Abyss don't really need to show too much because they're already ahead, but Regicide, they need to show their hand here.
Yes and no, right? Regicide already took a game off Abyss. If they come in and 2-0 them here, I think Regicide nearly go into the match as favourites. I think that for your mentality as Abyss Esports, you want to come in, just take care of business, send a message. Obviously, they're using Yele, the substitute jungler. You don't want to give anything away, Fish.
Let's see if it's going to be enough. Then we're on to Summoner's Rift for the first match between Regicide as well as Abyss. Regicide sitting at 7th place on the ladder at the moment. So curious to see if they can try and propel their way up the ladder slightly, stay in the OPL for next split. But for now, let's check in with Vicarious, the coach for Regicide, who is standing by with Serianne.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Vicarious. Now, we all noticed that you missed the 5th ban. Can you explain what happened there?
All right, so there were a lot of discussion on what to ban 5th, but at the end, I don't think we really needed the 5th ban anyway, because the 5th ban was kind of interesting, and there was a lot of OP picks, or the meta picks that was left open, so there wasn't really necessary bans.
Well, Rosie's playing Kennen on this side of Abyss. Is this something that you guys have come up against before, and how do you plan on combating it?
Okay, well, Kennen support is one of the more niche picks at the moment. I'm not too worried about it. In fact, Abyss team comp, they can only rely on the Callisto Cannon to initiate, maybe occasionally the Shockwave, but most of the time they have to rely on the bot lane. But we have a triple tank comp, which that means they're going to have a really, really hard time initiating on us.
Well, best of luck with the series today, Vicarious, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Funnily enough, I reckon he's nearly in contention for Coach of the Split. He, honestly, is one of the best spoken coaches we have. So if, you know, get him on this desk right now because I can't string two words together. But apart from that, Fish, I think that he gives his job a bloody good chance of winning most games. Not too many drafts come out and I'm like, wow, they have absolutely no hope to win. And I agree with him. I mean, they've got Kassadin, Jarvan, and, you know, Xayah as their threats. You don't want to engage magic damage onto Kassadin. He's going to be able to absorb a lot of that. Jarvan's going to be a big tanky man, and Xayah's got an ultimate to dodge out of, you know, Rosie flying in with a ball on him. So I think that the team fighting will be difficult for a bit.
I mean, I think you were the one that told me this, which is the coach's job is to set your team up for a 50% or better chance in Champion Select, and then it's up to them. And I think almost every game that Regicide have gone into, I don't think they've ever had a bad draft. One where you're just like, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
As for Abyss, there are a lot of flaws in their draft coming into this game. And we heard from Vicarious there. He thinks that there's a lot of things that they can exploit in the Abyss draft this match, especially the fact that they don't have a front line.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how that goes because obviously they've got an Assassin, they've got Jarvan that can jump in, as well as Yehle Sejuani. So I think that there are areas that they can definitely look to try and get ahead.
Well, let's see if they can do just that. Seb's already making an early trip into Yele's jungle to take away a couple of Raptors. Human's going to take some damage as well. But so far, early game, going slightly in favor of Abyss due to the lanes ahead, but that should change later on.
I'm going to break the fourth wall here for a second, guys. We have... Well, actually, a little gank coming in, so let's talk about that a little bit first.
Yeah, just some damage to the Yehle, keeping Human alive so he can farm into the turret. Actually, taking quite a bit. That's a flash forward at first blood suddenly. Hello?
Yeah, and that's really bad because all of a sudden, Human's lane, which was exactly where he wants to be, underneath turret, is being harassed out. And he'll lose so many of those crepes. A wave should bounce, or Luch can even continue to push this one in if he wants. All because Yehle went a little bit too aggressive. Seb just missed that cocoon. I don't think it was a real dive threat, however, Fish.
I think that's a wasted teleport as well. Coming back for 2 minions. Maybe not even that.
Yeah, potentially.
But I thought Yehle was just trying to hold the wave just off the turret so that they harass the jungler so Human can farm, but he stepped way too far forward
Yeah,
there.
he certainly did. I think that once he dodged the cocoon, he should have just ran back into the river. Now Seb comes around again.
Oh, no. Not great for Human. He's going to get locked down. Takes a lot of damage. Luch can't return, but Human has no way to get on top of the Orianna. Flashes over the wall, back to safety. Now's where teleport could have been handy.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, all of a sudden, Seb gets in. He's going to punish again. Luch is going to push this one into turret. Human's already used all of the charge of his corrupting potion, so will be forced back again. Luch, however, is sharing a lot of experience right now with Seb. Is the only positive thing we can really say for the Regicide lineup, and is being spotted out.
Oh, they're trying to kill Raid in the bottom lane though. Exhaust is used. He's already flashed and healed out. Kedu just needs a couple more autos, but the spears are being thrown into him. Rosie gets the kill. Chen smacks him over the door to pick up the return, but still big trade spot lane.
And that was funny because it looked like Kedu actually walked into the creep line and took a little bit too much extra damage there, Fish. I think that they would have won that if he wasn't the one that took aggro and instead it was Chenchuan. He needs to make this hit turret and he's not going to be able to. So even though Raid falls down, big win here. Rosie needs to stop auto-attacking that wave. Seb now is up and behind ZZZ.
Kabu getting some good damage. Hits him with the hook shot. Still going through these auto attacks. ZZZ is almost dead already. Flag, drag, flash immediately to get out of that.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying. This is why I don't like the Kassadin pick. And this is why I think there are risks with Regicide's team composition because they are falling so far behind already in this game. You can see Frozen Wave top, mid lane behind 8CS, big Frozen Wave bottom as well. And unfortunately, if you're a Kassadin in this situation, the game starts to become incredibly difficult, Fish.
And Seb's playing his champion perfectly here on the least. He's invaded early, picked up a Raptor camp away from Yehle, took him down, ganked mid lane twice, and already blew Summoner Spell's top lane. He's made his presence felt at Summoner's Rift.
Certainly has, and Human just misses a creep because. So not having the best game in the mid lane, and I said he needed to play well. has reached level 6. This is where the game starts to become a little bit easier if you are Cassidy.
Yeah, Luch has to be careful now, because Suva can do this over and over again.
But he just missed all his spells. I mean, sure, he can do it, but unless he actually hits some damn spells, Fish, doesn't really do all that much.
Yep. Luch is playing this lane perfectly fine at the moment. Slowly that CS will start to creep back in Human's favor.
ZZZ's going Black Cleaver first and not going towards his...
Hello, he jumps in on top of Pabu. Drops his ultimate. There's the Cataclysm. Almost takes him down underneath the turret. That's a confident man.
That is an absolute monster play, and all of a sudden his whole team is up here as well. They need to go quickly because otherwise he's going to be able to recall.
Yeah, the real Slim Shady needs to stand up here because Pabu gets destroyed by a Regicide.
Yeah, and that's a little bit unlucky for Human because he walked all the way up there and should have been rewarded with a kill. Yele actually didn't do anything apart from throw the W out. I thought it was going to be enough to keep him alive. Now Seb's going to look to do some counter jungling on the bottom side of the map, take away a red buff and some Raptor camp.
Took Raptor away, left the small one. Red buff's going to fall as well. Yele needs to find another way to farm because bottom side's gone. In fact, should have just stayed top side. Look for the red buff himself.
I mean, mid lane's pushed in and ZZZ can't really defend him, so I don't know if I agree with that. Elisa's counter jungling significantly quicker than what Sejuani's is.
Yeah, Seb is level 6 as well. Not that great for an Elise, but Yele being a level behind means he doesn't have that high impact ultimate. Bottom lane, however, is going in favor of Abyss here. They already got the 2-on-2 trade in their favor.
Yep.
And they have a slight CS lead too.
Yeah, and now that level 6 has been achieved on Raid, we'll see whether they can actually use this combo to bully out at all. We've already mentioned it, but Braum can potentially go Ardent Sense of this game because of how Stoneboard Pact works. Of course, any form of CC, that would be the Q, the ultimate, will be able to get Kedu healing off auto-attacking someone, which means that it's possible.
Do you think the item's that strong that Chen should go out of his way to pick it up, though?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, you can also just go... I mean, what else do you build on Braum, really?
Lockets.
Yeah, locket, tanky stuff, right? Like...
Night Spell.
Potentially, Night Spell can be picked up for Human off Yele, and then you can get one off Chenchuan. So you can go Night Spell Locket. I mean, that's also a fine item build, but I do think Ardent Sensor is incredibly good at the moment.
Let's see if he does go out his way for it. Rosie should not be. There's no way to actually proc it besides a Locket eventually.
Yep. Yeah, no. That's definitely...
Don't do it. I mean, Bond of Stone cannon sounds fine. You've got lots of stuns.
Yeah, how far down the rabbit hole do we go? That's the big question.
Yeah, that truly shows you when an item's broken, when every spot's just like, you know what, we're getting it. No matter what, we'll make it work somehow. Assuming does pick up blue buff, though. So he's going to be sitting pretty in this mid lane now. Luch has done a good job creating a CS lead for himself.
Yeah, but we'll see how far it gets him, right? Because there should be a point in this game where no matter how bad Human's early game's been, and it's actually not been all that bad now, it should start to get easier. You can see that he's been chased out a little bit here, Fish.
Luch does this really well. Puts in consistent trades against Human.
Here we go, though.
Yele jumps into the mid lane, locks down Luch, will get the stun. Shockwave is through, but Yele times it perfectly. And it, ooh, that is not good.
I mean, he gets the kill. That's good. He's going to be able to shove in this wave. Rosie and Seb are here, but it will hit the turret. So it's not the worst thing. However, using the ultimate when the target was definitely dead, he burned both summoner spells already, was a little bit of an overreach for me, Fish. Know that you weren't a big fan of it either. However, getting your tank ahead is never a bad thing.
No, it's not, but thought that Yele would have just made a return trip with the ultimate if he saved it.
Yep.
Not going to be able to now. He does go towards top side of the map.
I mean, I think this is pretty big right now. ZZZ is starting to stack up a creep lead, and you can see that Pabu just cannot go anywhere near anything. He actually approaches a wave, and Seb is coming around. If they're patient here, they can pick up Pabu.
Let's see what Pabu does. Going to get collapsed on now. Flag and drag. Doesn't interrupt the hook shot. There's the Cataclysm now. Jumps out of it with his own ultimate. And does have backup from Seb. They lock down ZZZ, but he's already got such good damage on the Pabu. They turn up to Seb instead. Will avoid the stun coming out of Yele. Pabu tries to go back in, but Chen jumps in. Hook shot doesn't get to the wall. Rosie's up here as well. Triple stun from the cannon. ZZZ is running away. They will take down Yele, and Chen's forced to flash out.
And Pabu is so lucky because he actually missed the turret with his hook shot, but Rosie flies in, uses the flash, uses the slicing maelstrom, and will be able to secure one kill for his team. But that looked like it was going to go disastrously for Abyss.
Somehow they turn it around. They still keep 1,000 gold lead for themselves, but Still a very even game between the two teams.
Yeah, it certainly is. You can see Luch looking for some more harass again. We keep mentioning it, but this consistent abuse that's coming out of the Orianna actually goes for it. Rod of Ages fish. So a little bit defensive flavor. Probably going to go towards a Morellonomicon next. We'll give him a little bit more health, a little bit more defensive stats.
I like that. He's not going anywhere, so might as well pick up this scaling item. Suman does have the teleport available for Cassidy now, though. ZZ has already burnt his towards top lane. Pabu's holding onto his own. Avoids that cocoon, and Rosie was charging it as well.
Yep. You can see that Abyss are just trying to maintain control of this bottom side jungle. It's actually going to be a Black Cleaver already picked up for ZZZ. So in persistent trades, he should do incredibly well versus Pabu right now. You can see that he's about 15 CS up and the wave's pushing back towards him. So yeah, 300-400 gold lead. And I think this is a Camille favored matchup.
I think ZZZ just doesn't lose anything. No matter what matchup you give him, he's like, yeah, you know, this is how you win this matchup. It's not a game of rock, paper, scissors for him. This is really the 4D chess match for him.
Yeah. Pabu, no passive available. Means that he can be all in. Here we go.
Good damage. He gets the grass proc as well, throws down the Cataclysm, forces Pabu
He's
to
a
flash
monster!
out.
This guy is one of the most impressive top laners I think we've seen. He was amazing when he was on Avant, went by the moniker of Paradise, and he is bullying Pabu around.
I mean, there's a saying in the Halo series called Tank beats everything, and that's just ZZ. ZZ beats everything. Nothing shuts that guy down. He doesn't care about anyone as well.
Collapse is coming out here, onto.
Going to get tagged up, slowed down by Winter's Bite. Yele throwing in his passive procs as well. Luch is trying to get in amongst it to stop him from dying. Ultimate gets thrown out, delays Rosie from getting back in, and he gets tagged up too. Forces the Fate's call. Ultimate from Yele does miss. Pabu though, is he going to die? ZZZ, smack him in the face. Oh, he's not going to be able to get it. Went for the Q instead. Pabu gets the kill simply by walking away.
Yeah, is there still movement speed on Stinger? I don't know if there is. I think it's just called out at attack speed. But he was running real quick there, Pabu, so was able to get away. And unfortunate there for ZZZ. I think that's overzealous. He should have just been content with the fact that he's about to get that top lane turret organically in the 1v1.
So close. He went for the high-risk play, didn't pay off, but the game's dead even. 21,000 gold for both teams.
Yeah, it certainly is. 13 minutes in. What I was going to say before, Fish, breaking the fourth wall a little bit, was the reason that sometimes at the start of the second match, the casters go a little bit quiet is that we get the option of having a cup of soup. And it is a big decision for Fish. Every single time the cup of soup comes over, he goes rummaging through the cup of soup for a particular flavor.
I just look for the tomato soup.
Right now he's looking for the tomato soup. I have some roasted chicken. But Kitty, our absolutely amazing assistant, as Rosie gets chased out, delivers cup of soups, and they are very good fish.
It is a lifesaver. Benji wants his cup of soup.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you're not a shoutcaster. So we'll see how that one works out for you in the future, Ben.
That hurts.
But
he doesn't have a voice on the show.
He doesn't.
Give him a way to defend himself.
No, don't. He has a Twitter account, mate. Come on. Across the board, however, power spikes are starting to come through for the Regicide lineup. You can see Roa has been accomplished in the mid lane for Suman. He's pretty equal in experience, but a little bit behind in the farm.
Yeah.
You can see now that Pabu has all of the parts of his Trinity Force. He's moving up the lane a little bit more confidently. Also has 4 members joining him, which might help.
Yeah, big swap from Abyss. They send both the AD carry and support as well as the jungler up top, and it's an aggressive trio that have made the way to the top lane against ZZZ.
However, might have been read here from Regicide because they know that there's no one bottom lane. You see the question mark ping goes out. So I think that they will have read this. Sure, they might lose the turret race, but it looks like ZZZ, actually, he is a very brave man.
Yeah, he needs to jump out. He's going to get cancelled through flag and drag, and the rest of Abyss just jump on top of him. Easy kill for them.
Yeah, I was going to say he has backed away, but then he didn't. And he still had flash available as well. So a little bit strange. And they lose the race for first brick, as well as give up a kill in the process.
They're pinging for top lane inner instead. Should settle for Rift Herald or mid lane outer potentially.
Yeah, potentially, given the fact that Human came across, they can definitely look for this.
That's already been hurt by Luch, who shoved in. Human nice and early, got good chip damage on this turret. Looking to pick it up. Human will slowly make his way back to the lane.
Disappeared into Fog of War, so I'll be interested to see if Luch sticks around for this turret. He does. A little bit risky because if Sejuani is exactly where Human is, and 2 members have gone to Rift Herald and 1 member stayed top lane, which is what happened, you can win that 2v2 if you're Regicide. So I think Abyss played a little bit, you know, cheekily there.
That's nice from Regicide though. They do take bottom lane inner as well as outer. So eventually it's a 2-for-2 trade.
Yep.
Rift Herald falls for Abyss as well, so that's a turret in their back
Pele's
pockets.
really struggling against this dragon.
He'll get it though.
Sejuani's not the best solo dragon taker in the game.
But this will be picked up, and that'll be the trade for Rift Herald. So Dragon picked up. It's about 5 to 700-ish lead for Abyss. So dead even game, still.
Yep.
And this is a game that you'd expect Abyss to win.
Yeah, really, Abyss should have come in here hot favourites, but the early game certainly hasn't shown all that much yet. Kodo picks himself up some tabbies. We're used to seeing offensive boots now, Fish. There was a time when tabbies were a huge pickup for AD carries.
That's when AD carries got one shot by everything.
Yeah, I think against Camille and Callista, however, it makes sense.
Especially when Abyss don't have a front line. Somebody is going to be on top of Kedo who needs to stay alive.
Yep.
And it was to a point where we used to see Rando and Zoman picked up on champions like Corki when he was an AD carry.
Did we? Or was that just Edward?
It was Edward for a while, and then it actually happened. Just like his Guardian Angel build on AD carries. Ugh.
No, GA is actually a good build on AD carry.
True. Haven't seen it picked up as much, though.
No.
It's more of a top lane
Fighter.
Jarvan.
Yeah. There we go. Human in some trouble, however. Yele.
He can't rift walk out, but a Sejuani is here, locks him down over the wall, flashes over, and Suman jumps up to clean up the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that's decisiveness out of Yele. He really wants to have an impact here, and here we go.
They're jumping on top of Rosie. Good damage. Cataclysm as well. He will Fate's Call and flash out, but now Seb, he's forced to flash as well, does get away.
Yeah, but big summoner spells used, as well as ultimates everywhere out of Abyss, and they also lost their top laner, Pabu. So that is a huge swing right now.
And Suman will take top lane turret for that.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they put Suman in top lane because they felt that the Jarvan no longer really won the 1v1. I think that's incredibly smart.
So Seb calls upon Rift Herald. That will charge down
This is
the
a
bottom
big
lane.
force. They're bringing Orianna down as well. You can see that no ultimates are available.
Suman doesn't have teleport, but the rest of Regicide are collapsing here. Just wants to block the Rift Herald. Doesn't work that way. Charges on through and we'll be able to take down that turret. Won't be able to get a second charge.
1-for-1 trade, still. I mean, Human in the meantime took top lane turret, and that's a pretty big deal.
So game's dead even in terms of gold. The Rift Herald didn't do too much, so Regicide are technically ahead because they have a Mountain Dragon.
Yep, that's correct. You can see that it looks like Kedu's going to go towards the mid lane, and they will probably really go into their 1-3-1 now.
So slight gold lead for Pabu, top side map, about 500 ahead, but then it's a lead for Yele. Even in the mid lane, Kedu is slightly ahead, but it's really Pabu that has the biggest lead.
And look at the experience advantage right now. Yele is 2 levels ahead over Seb, and Seb had a very active early game. In fact, was able to steal away bottom side of the jungle completely from the Sejuani. This isn't catch-up mechanics. He never fell behind an experienced Fish. So you have to really take your hats off to Regicide's sub-jungler. He looked very good today.
And every time he's jumped in for Regicide, he's looked good in his jungle. I don't think we've seen Fade or Yele have a disappointing
He's looked
performance, so to speak.
okay. I'm not going to say good. I feel like we use the word good too much, and therefore it loses a little bit of meaning. He hasn't been a liability, sure.
No. Suman's having a much better game as well. It's not the standout performance we kind of expect from him on Assassins, but he's not 0-5 on a control mage.
Yeah, and I mean, Kassadin's not an assassin and like an assassin like others. He really does take a little bit longer to get into the game. He's highly mobile when he gets to that level 16. If he's on 2.5, 3 items by that stage of the game, he will absolutely be able to take over. But at this stage, I mean, he is still looking to come online. You can see they're looking for it.
Get on top of Seb, slowed him down, but Regicide back off.
Yeah,
Good stun.
Probably could have altered from Fog of War there, as
Meanwhile,
ZZZ and Pabu.
The tank battle bottom lane, or the fighter battle, I should say. Pabu says, come on, let's fight before that teleport's complete. I'll kill you and run. Suman on the chase, so we'll be able to take him down.
Yeah, nicely done by Human. I mean, does have to burn a summoner spell to be able to chase him down. ZZZ didn't even burn Flash. He knew he was dead as soon as that kind of started, which is why it came out. And it's just a 1-for-1 trade. When you have 2 teleports, you can burn one like that. I think they should keep Human once he gets something like a arm guard in Pabu's lane from now on. you can see that ZZZ is very much struggling after he gave away that first kill.
Ooh, Shockwave hits both AD carry and support. Keto forced to use his ultimate. Rosie jumps on in. Chen Xuan pops the ultimate himself to delay the rest of Abyss. So summoner spells as well as ultimates being
But
burnt.
that's their best initiation tool. Shockwave into perfect Rosie ultimate. And you can see that Kedu just jumps out. Sure, he has to use ultimate as well as double summoner spell, but it's not going to be that easy for Abyss Esports to get on top of the members of Regicide. Dragon becoming available with all the flashes down on Regicide is a little bit worrisome, Fish.
A very early Night Spell picked up by Chen Xuan as well. So he's looking to deny a lot of damage onto Kedu and heal up himself when the feathers start stacking into people. Curious to see what his next item is going to be. Probably a Locket, maybe a Righteous Glory if he needs to initiate.
Yeah, potentially a Righteous Glory. I mean, we can see Adaptive Helm has come out of Yele. So, you know, maybe he can go towards a Righteous Glory and Locket can come out of Chen Xuan, I think is probably their best option. A lot of AoE damage coming out of Raid, Rosie, and Luke. And, ooh.
That's half your health, one rotation. As Human just gets stronger and stronger to speed up from distance. Is it enough? He's ghosting away. Human is collapsing, still has plenty of mana.
Missed
Shockwave misses, and Human cleans up. Gets the first kill. Raid is trying to take him down with a lot of spears, but Rosie's probably going to fall
my
here.
goodness.
They collapse.
Oh.
Shutdown comes through, but Raid is so low. Here comes ZZ. Crank the arena, buddy. Slam the hammer down onto Raid. Winter's Bite does not connect. He's going to be able to get out just fine, but Seb is being cornered.
Yeah, he certainly is. Ooh. There we go. He does slam him in the arena eventually, and now Seb is just still continuing this great escape.
Posterize him.
He's not going to be able to get out.
Now Seb's in trouble. He's going to get locked down. Easy kill picked
and
up by
that's a
Regicide.
Fire Drake. So all of a sudden they take 1,000 gold lead. They're going to get themselves a Fire Drake Fish as well as, I mean, the scaling advantage. Regicide looked like they came to play today.
They certainly did. Now, with this lead, let's see if Regicide can close out a game in the OPL. They've done well early, historically, stayed even with teams like the Chiefs. It's late and mid-game where they start to fall apart.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you can see that this Drake is going down pretty quickly. So maybe Sejuani better at taking Drake than I initially thought. We'll be able to get the recall out there. Abyss need to start being a little bit worried because, as we said, no easy way to get into team fights. Kedu, now that he's got a rapid fire cannon, is nice and safe. And Schumann nearly 1v2'd there, the two carries of Abyss Esports.
What was Abyss's win condition with this team composition? Because it seems like
get ahead early.
Get ahead
winning.
early.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
I mean, there's always a win condition that, you know, at level 16, who really goes with Camille? I don't think anyone can in the game, really. Potentially a great Fiora.
This is why I really like Vicarious' drafts, because Regicide has so many ways to win the game. Right now, it's simply, we team fight, we're better at team fights, and we will win. Just proving that, CZ flashes forward to initiate, and Luch is dead.
Why not? I mean, absolutely why not? Just get in there, make sure that you've got the fight that you want. Start up Baron. They have no smite right now, so this is risky, but they're looking for the fight anyway.
They're going for a 4 and 5. CZ says, sure, we'll take this one. Kedu jumps in first. Pabu has teleported in. Yele taking a lot of damage. Where did that ultimate go, Yele? That's inexcusable, but it doesn't matter. Raid's dead. Pabu will jump away. 1-for-1 trade, but Regicide should be happy with that.
Yeah, they certainly should be. When you throw an ultimate backwards and you're still able to trade equally, that's a good news story. They also got the TP out of Pabu and are looking to siege in on this mid lane turret.
That's going to fall. Regicide should be able to take that one down. Abyss move away from the outer turret in the mid lane, and Regicide get further and further ahead.
And the problem is that Kedu and Suman are massive. This is the initial pick. He actually flashed the cocoon Fish. That is some just outright good mechanics coming out of ZZZ. And as we said, I mean, they were looking for the re-engage. They didn't even have smite, so this was a bait. They go over the wall, they get Seb. And unfortunately for Yele, he was really getting tied up. And I mean, Pabu did flash it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Pabu was able to escape, but Raid fell down. And the 80 carry for Abyss, unfortunately, is just getting bullied.
Certainly is, and Raid's normally been the star player. We've seen him almost single-handedly take down teams like the Chiefs when he's picked up Jin when it was out of mana. Chen Xuan's dead here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Kedu also has to flash away. I think that right now, Regicide need to start deathballing. They can't solo face check into vision. They need to have 5 members on the screen, and they need to really deathball the other comp, because we've seen that has when they've been most successful. They're going to start this one up with Chen Xuan dead. I think this is still risky Fish.
vision does come out from Regicide, so they know. They go for the fight. Pabu jumps to Yele, and Abyss turn around to look for the fight themselves. ZZZ tanking up all the damage. Rosie, he's going to fall. Kedu's in the back, glides. They're stuck. Abyss have nowhere to run, and the Cataclysm destroys Raid. Good night, AD carries. Where the heck are you running to, Abyss? ZZZ is going to herd you straight back to the base. Shockwave whiffs. Everyone's dead, and Regicide pick up an ace 26 minutes into the game.
What a play out of ZZZ. He launches himself at Raid, and honestly, where there was a Callista, there was absolutely nothing left alive. With Yele dead, it's a risky Baron, but everyone else on the side of Abyss is dead. Doesn't even matter. Rosie's 10 seconds away.
They're so confident that 3 members are taking out Baron, while Suman is split pushing mid lane, looking for mid lane inner. I
said he had to go 25-0. Well, he's 6-1-4. I mean, he's definitely justified the pick. And Regicide, I mean, trying to make their mark on the OPL. It's been late, but going into the 6th versus 7th game with a 2-0 over Abyss, I mean, they're not there yet. That would be a statement. Yele's just so tanky. He gets a big Courage Colossus shield there, and Rosie's already dead. And 1-for-1 trade, and then look at this. Oh. That is just so much damage. Perfect auto-cancellings woven in. ZZZ looks very good on the Jarvan.
ZZZ looks good on everything. And here it is again. Shockwave whiffs thanks to Flag and Drag. Easy kills picked up by Regicide. And they're looking really strong in this match against Abyss. I hope that this is the same form we'll see them.
He's gone Magi's as well.
Oh, goodness.
Here we go. Only need the 25 stack to really cement it. I called it, Fish. Said he's going to go 25-0.
Well, he's got 5 completed items thanks to the cost efficiency of Magi's. I mean, Crafting Potion, technically a good item to have in that final slot.
I mean, for its cost, it is very cost efficient. Don't know if it's slot efficient. They're 2 different things, Fish.
But Regicide should be very comfortable with the lead they have. Baron buff to work with as well, and only 1 outer turret remaining, which is on top side.
Cocoon landed. Can they bait him in?
Chenchun just steps in front of him and says, no, you cannot.
I thought they were going to actually leave Kedu there as bait. He still has ultimate available, Fish.
So that... Whoa, they're jumping off to ZZZ. No, can't get close enough. He's perfectly fine. And I think that last team fight showed why we didn't really like the Kennen support pick coming out of Rosie. But we did think it was okay in that last match because that last team fight, he didn't do anything. He locked down ZZZ. And Kedu just went to town, was able to avoid everything from the odds.
Yep, exactly right. This Xayah has shown today that it is going to be a big priority pick throughout the gauntlet. You can see Pabu and Rosie are looking for a flank here. See whether they can get anything to happen.
So they get the final outer turret. It's just the base left standing for Abyss. ZZZ has pushed up mid lane. He's going towards the bottom side of the map to split up the rest of Abyss and make it harder for them to contest 2 turrets at once.
Yeah, they can't really dive at the moment. I mean, their big tank in Yele hasn't got all that much armor. Deadman Plate picked up for ZZZ. It's a good pseudo item.
I like this out of Yele. He's not going greedy for the Warmogs. Instead, after Cinderhawk, that's his health item, straight towards a hybrid between resistance as well as health.
Yep. And now they go into Pabu.
He's going to jump away, but that's a double teleport bottom lane. So there's nothing that Abyss can do here. They send 4 members down, hoping they can repel this push for the inhibitor. But just slowly, Regicide will cripple the base of Abyss.
Yeah, and this is a 1-3-1 comp coming online. They go for the engage.
Oh, they jump in. That's a big initiative. But Luch, he shockwaves himself. Is it going to matter, though? Because already the support's dead. ZZZ, come on and slam! Is able to trap them in the arena. And it's the duo of the solo lanes going to town. 2 on 3 isn't enough. Sonya's used. Rift Walk one more time. Gets the Quadra. He gets the pentakill. Big play from Regicide.
Fantastic play out of Regicide, and they will be able to end their game off that. They already broke the inhibitor, and they've got Human as well as CZZ alive. The Cassidy pick comes up trump, and Regicide will take the 1-0.
And he has a superstar performance. The solo laners from Regicide carry this game on their back. The rest of the team did phenomenal. They're trying to close out this game, but they are so low without minions.
Yeah, I don't know if they can actually do it now, Fish. Honestly, Rosie's back up and alive. Maybe they just have to get out.
Rosie, he can taste these sweet, juicy kills, but they do back out. They will take a single turret and an inhibitor, breaking down mid lane almost as well. But my goodness, what a big team fight. And Luch, that was inexcusable. He missed the shockwave.
Yeah, let's have a look at it again. So Pabu, perfect engagement. But it was Pabu that went invulnerable, I think. Was that what happened? The ball snapped back for some reason.
Yep, he went invulnerable, so ball snapped back, and Luch didn't get the ultimate.
Yep. So I honestly think that's Pabu's fault. There was no reason for Pabu to ult there. And off the back end of that, I mean, Human and ZZZ are just too fed. That's a pretty good pentakill. I mean, who is it now? Razor's got a couple, and I think Human has one.
Yep.
Has anyone else got a pentakill?
Chippies is one.
Well, who
On
did
his
Chippies get it on?
Jax.
Jax, he did. So joining
A
pretty
couple of people have been denied.
yeah, that was FBI getting denied by Ryoma, I think, that you're mentioning.
Even Dokla, you know, stopped hitting the Nexus so he could give the pentakill away, and scumbag Tommy decides it's not happening. That's why FBI didn't hit the Nexus, I believe. It was like, you know what, you steal my pentakill, we're not going to Cat Cafe.
That makes sense. I mean, right now, however, Human is 6 items.
Jesus. That is 25 stacks in the Medjars. With a void staff as well, that's a complete build Cassidy, and he's going to look to continue pushing on here. 22 kills to 13, 11,000 gold lead for Regicide.
Yeah, and this has been a commanding performance. We'll see whether they can back it up in the next game, Fish, because you have to assume that this one is only a matter of time before Regicide will be able to take the victory.
Only inhibitor left standing is top side for Abyss. They're going to have to try and pile on in to put up a last stand somewhere.
It's a little bit weird from Regicide, to be honest. Would like to see them trying to pressure top lane a little bit harder. Maybe just waiting for creeps to walk in through the mid lane.
Yep. Slowly, they're playing this one safely here. But good wave clear from Abyss is able to stop them pushing in for good damage on these turrets. As Suman and ZZZ herd Abyss towards their Nexus instead of the top lane turret.
Yep.
Still making it work, making it hard for Abyss to defend, and this turret's fallen. That's it. There's only one turret left for Abyss.
They have to fight on this inhibitor, Fish. If you don't fight on this inhibitor, you probably lose the game regardless of outcome. Rosie knows that. He's stepping forward aggressively. Will Pabu go? It's going to fall down.
Nope, that's gone. They jump on top of ZZ and they try to pick a fight after the inhibitor falls. Rosie doesn't get the stun he wanted, and the turn comes from Regicide. Suman gets the first one. Shockwave's good, but everyone else is locked down. ZZZ jumps to the back lines. He gets a triple kill for himself. Only the cannon left is live inside the fountain, and Regicide have done it. They're looking to try and pick up the Nexus, and they take game 1 over Abyss.
That's a great game out of Regicide. They are such a fun team to watch play League of Legends. You can see, pretty cool after that win as well. No real big smiles there. Pentakill on Suman, as well as a commanding performance from the Jarvan. I think they should be a little bit happier with themselves.
They certainly should, but they've got their eyes on the prize spawn. They won all 3 points today. They want to show Abyss who is boss coming into the 6th and 7th place match.
That is such a good way to go into the 6th versus 7th place match. If they're able to pick up 2 wins here, that means that they would have the head-to-head over Abyss. That is a message, if I have ever seen one, that they want to stick around in the OPL. They don't even want to go to the relegation tournament.
And again, Abyss, what were they trying to draft in that game? They just completely fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, in saying that, like, Direwolves pick up drafts like that all the time, and they just make it work through priority and Elisa's ganking, and everyone's like, wow, like, play early game League of Legends every single time because it looks so great. Unfortunately for Abyss, Seb got off some good ganks, to be honest. He picked up first blood onto the enemy jungler. They just weren't able to punish anything after that. A lot of it was loss of pressure through top lane. I mean, Pabu got chunked out. His turret was like on 60% health very early on in the game. Got dove a couple of times. One of the times, he even picked up the kill, but ZZZ was just walking like a Terminator through everything to try and get towards him. And it meant that the map was a little bit uneven.
And Luch, again, not having the best performances. Kept Suman down in a matchup that Cassidy was doing well in, but team fights didn't look great for him.
I mean, I think the team fights were hard, right? Orianna looks exceptional when she has something like Jarvan, a Maokai, something that gets on the back line. Luch didn't have that. He hit one good shockwave. I think Pabu cost him another good shockwave. And, you know, unfortunately for the mid laner of Abyss, it just wasn't his day.
But with that, Regicide pick up game 1 over Abyss. And we're going to send it back to the analyst desk to break it down further.
Where?
Thank you very much, Fish and Spawn and Tegan. Commiserations, because Regicide able to pick up a point. And kind of against all odds, but you got to congratulate them. They played well in this one, Jish.
Yeah, Tegan started his day when he walked into the office and he was like, oh, my day cannot get worse from here. I had such a good burger. And I was just thinking before, like, maybe if he gets this 2-0 in his favor, his day gets better. But
I said it couldn't get better, not it couldn't get worse.
Oh,
It couldn't
right.
get better because the burger was that good.
yeah, no, actually,
Right,
I
that
misquoted.
logically makes
My
sense.
bad.
This
Yeah,
is
my bad.
this is more proof that it just couldn't get better.
The best your day was going to get was when you had a burger for breakfast. Well, let's talk about this game then, shall we? And Tegan, I don't mean to trick you, but what went right for Regicide in this game? Because it felt like this is a new style of play, a new hunger out of them that we haven't necessarily seen earlier in the split.
Yeah, what went right is they just. It's hard to say one thing. I'd say the first thing is the draft went really, really well. I mean, they missed a ban, but they still come out with a better draft.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need my 5th ban. Quote of the century.
And then like his top laner gets counterpicked too. Like that's actually such like an awesome quote. Yes, we didn't need that one. I guess we're just talking about it for a bit and then didn't need it.
But from there, Yele going in just aggressively on multiple different ganks, sometimes too aggressively, mind you, but still just active on the map. And before this series, I was sort of expecting him to not be too good. I expected the lack of fade to show, but he was active. He was everywhere, throwing ults, sometimes in the wrong direction, but
He was definitely throwing.
he's trying. All right. And that is way more active than I ever expect someone subbing in to be on a team.
Well, let's talk about Human, because I feel like he had a much better performance. We've watched him go up and down all split, and I feel like this was a kind of commanding performance from him.
Yeah, I think stylistically the matchup is kind of good for Suman because Luch is known to be a bit of a passive player, and I think everyone says he's great at farming and that he puts a bit of pressure in lane, but he's not like a massive lane bully and he won't like push you out or anything, and that's why the Cassidy pick and generally many sort of like the scaling assassins that Suman wants to play, but specifically the Cassidy just works really well because if Luch isn't going to bully him out, then it gets to the point where he's massive, and we saw him I think 1v2 at some point, chasing around here, and it's like, he picks up Luch here, and Raid's on his way. So already both summoners from Luch used. Raid uses the 3rd summoners. He misses his ultimate. And then, as Suman decides to start 1v2ing, Seb comes in. But the best thing about this is that Regicide have all corralled together, and they pick up Casson. They just look like a lot more cohesive in this fight. Abyss sort of all over the place. And it's really important, I think, here is that this opens up the Infernal Dragon for them, right? So now that they just got clean up, I think the last kill onto Elise, the 2 last kills onto our Raid there at the inhibitor turret and then Elise in the bottom lane brush, they then get to move into the Infernal Dragon, and for their composition that is, later in the game, going to be like scaling very, very well, like cracking that first Infernal Dragon, they just get so much more power.
Yeah, and anytime you have a comp that scales well and looks to go late and you start taking control of the game early, it feels like nothing can go wrong, and you just become more confident in your calls, you become more confident in your rotations, what you're trying to prioritize, and it just ended up snowballing for them. You see them collapsing on poor Baron attempts, collapsing on just everything all throughout the game, and it seemed like it just couldn't go wrong for them.
Let's talk about this second replay. I know you want to bring up T-Gun because I feel like this was a decisive moment for you in this game.
Yeah, again, it's just Regicide collapsing on poor things from the opposing team. Abyss try a Baron, then try to peel. And Regicide, look at where all their important people are. Well positioned. ZZZ deletes Raid from Summoner's Rift. Never going to see him again. Suman now can just chase forever. There's no real threat of damage on him. ZZZ re-engages another whiffed ulti from Luch. And from here, the game feels almost unwinnable. If I'm in Abyss's boots, you feel completely demoralized because that Baron looked to be a good idea. They picked Chen Xuan before it, and then they got the really good turn onto Yele and removed him, and it just all fell apart straight after.
So I think if you kind of like zoom out, there's quite a few things going on, right? Last week, we saw Abyss versus Chiefs almost on the Nexus, almost taking games, right? And then this week, they are really struggling versus Regicide. On the flip side, you've seen Regicide really struggling in previous weeks, but this week, I think playing much better than they have, potentially all split, Jish.
I mean, yeah, last week, I guess it's kind of hard to be too critical of Regicide. Direwolves played some fantastic games into them, which is more props to Direwolves more than anything else, I'd say. So I think that, sort of in the vein that we said that Legacy Sin would be very, very important for their standings. I think that, Regicide see this one, and Abyss should too. I think is that obviously this is the contention for whether or not they play against Regicide or TM in the first round. So I think that this this step up we see from Regicide, I think, yeah, it was largely in part that they, obviously finding more synergy together as a team. But yeah, just in general, I think they played their composition a lot better.
Absolutely. And they were able to close out the game once they had their head the lead, and they just did not, I guess, whiff the game.
Yeah, no, I think we actually see like a almost perfect engage coming out of Abyss. I think near their base turrets, and this is kind of like the final call for Abyss. If they can't get this off, then they probably lose the game. I think if Luch lands that ultimate there, this fight becomes a lot cleaner. But as these prolonged fights go on, I think that it sort of just favors the skirmish heavy team with the Kassadin. Obviously, he's at this point super scaled into the game. Props to Raid actually like dancing around there, kiting out pretty well, but. At this point, Suman picks up the pentakill. Production team actually just cut off the graphic that says pentakill, but that's fine. I promise you he did get that one. But yeah, he actually had a near immaculate performance, 12-1-7. Did a lot of work for his team.
Absolutely.
Did he end up getting to 25 stacks on the Medjais? He picked up the Medjais,
He did,
right?
he did.
Yeah,
He did make it. That is... I can't which caster tried to say that he was going to get to 25? I can't remember who it was.
I feel like it would Spawn.
they-
Spawn is
Too smart.
He's a Majai's enthusiast. He sees that as the
Too
poor
smart for
man's
his own
death
good.
cap.
I will say as well, Spawn and Fish were rattling off the pentakills on the OPL. I did not hear them shout out Raze, and I did tweet saying, look, I can't believe they missed Raze's pentakill, but I believe they started with that, so I'd like to publicly apologize to Spawn and Fish for roasting them on Twitter when they didn't deserve it. And now that I've said that, you can delete your tweets, please, and call off your dogs.
Put out the flaming torches,
Please,
please.
guys. There's just been a lot of mean things on Twitter right now, and I just missed that one. I'm real sorry. Tegan, an impressive pentakill was... Whoa! That's a lot of damage out of a Jarvan as well. A lot of damage at two champs.
So I think like the important thing to note here is that when you look at the lineup of Abyss in their draft, is they really have basically for their roles 5 squishy champions. Obviously Camille, not the squishiest champion in League of Legends, but as a top laner, doesn't actually build many defensive items. Obviously goes offensive items and looks to be split pushing and is really like a carry in herself. And I think that obviously if you build no like resistances and you have no front line, damage sticks a lot harder, which is why I think that the Regicide draft just was actually probably like much better than Abyss's.
Yeah, I mean, we can say it again and again, but it felt like Abyss just didn't really have a plan going into it. They saved top counterpick to the very end, got what I assume was what they wanted, because Jarvan is a pretty standard pick there, and there's no other way to say it. It did not look impressive. It looked very just terrible. That's all I can say.
Wow, all right.
It feels harsh, but when you save your top counter pick for last, you want to at least win that lane. And before junglers even came into fruition, before anything impacted that lane, ZZZ was winning.
Let's take a look at the bot lane then as well to chat about Kedu into Ray. I think you've had a lot of opinions on the Kalista Kennen bot lane, Tegan. Do you feel like it worked out for Raid in this particular matchup?
It's a difficult one to say. It feels like they needed that engage from their bot lane because they didn't have it elsewhere, but I don't like having to rely on Kalista Kennen for engage. I would prefer you go Ashe Alistair or something like that. It's obviously not great in the meta right now, but Kalista Kennen, not a fan.
Yeah, and on the tail end of the cast, we mentioned that your direwolves have often made compositions similar to this look quite easy to execute and play around. But I think 6th, 7th place team, you really want to see those easy engage buttons, things like the Alistair, the Rakan, things that just get into the back line of the enemy team and can start a fight. And then when you have things like the Orianna Shockwave, that follows up. If Luch lands one, maybe he will next game. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think that they've drafted themselves into this spot where their early game has to be very, very clean, which it was anything but. Like the game was borderline Fiesta for the first 20 minutes, right? And then once it gets to the later stage of the game, it becomes like way easier, I think, for just like to walk up, throw like the Braum Q Braum ult, block damage, or like Sejuani ult coming over top, Jarvan Cataclysm, the easiest ability in the game. Like it's just like the execution for Abyss is that much harder than it was for Regicide.
Well, do you think going into game 2 then they pick an easier comp potentially?
Yeah, find go buttons. Like,
yeah.
I think find go buttons.
Bring back Ashe. Bring back Varus. Just easy point and click stuff, essentially. Just throw it in there. I know there's a Sivir enthusiast in the room. Not a fan. No,
You know, like-
bring back Ash and Varus.
Ash and Varus, nah.
Yeah, to
100%
me-
crit Siva going.
To me, it's more on Seb, I think, and his engaged champions Maokai, Zach, Gragas were banned. So I think they took. I guess maybe that's where it needs to change around and pivot, and we could see a change in that with Abyss being on blue side. He can get his first pick of junglers. If he gets the Sejuani or the Gragas, give them more frontline, then maybe that's their go button.
Meanwhile, Abyss's bans, Nidalee, Lee Sin, for their first 2 bans, look like they could have been...
They're fade bans.
Yeah,
Like,
they're bans for fade,
they look
yeah.
like fade bans.
Yeah, and also like Lee Sin's not even like meta right now. Like no one's karate kicking tanks out of the fight.
Yeah, I feel like we've harped on enough about the draft, but yeah, it's just terrible
All right.
bans.
Let's
Terrible.
before we get too deep on this draft, and let's take a question from Twitter. Hashtag IMFPL. We're asking about summoner spells, and some Smite Dookie has tweeted in saying a summoner spell that is a thin line spear that pushes a single target backwards around the range of an average dash. So I think he wants
like
like
Syndra E.
or like a
Yeah.
like a
Or
like a
Nidalee spear.
vein. The vein pushback,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you
Yeah,
think?
but I assume that's
I'm-
like you throw it at them.
right.
So
Oh, I see. Not a right. Yeah.
no, yeah.
that feels like I don't know, like when are you using that? Are you like using it on Yasuo to like knock someone back?
This has got to be like
Ult.
a super short cooldown as
I
well.
think
There's no way this is like over a minute cooldown.
You're just
So-
using it to get away from like the scary Zed or something. You just like push them away. Like, get away from me. Like,
But I mean, it's a dash, so that's not a long. That's a long. That's not a long distance.
I had a thought about this. Summon a spell that disables pings for 35 seconds.
Oh
I can't
my
get-
God, yes.
I
I'll take
can't
that.
get question mark ping.
Yeah.
It'd be so
Absolutely.
good.
yeah. They
It's
also,
so
I
good.
think you can actually take like Flash and Ghost and then mute pings too. But
Nah,
you can also
refuse
just give it a
to.
summon spell too.
Yeah,
Just
no. You just mute pings for like 35 seconds, and you come back on after you've just messed up. You just need to like hit your summon a spell, and be like, I know I messed up. I'm sorry, guys. Stop question mark pinging me. I'm too stressed. I can't play under these conditions. And then once everyone's calmed down, they stop flaming you. Then you can come back on. They can ping again. Helpful.
Sends like a
communicative
flare out
pings.
of your champion as well. Everyone was like, this is like an SOS moment. You're like,
Oh,
oh,
boy.
stop.
It's too much. All right, tweet us, hashtag IMPL. Let us know in Twitch chat. What summoner spell would you add to League of Legends? And that cannot be revived. That's the rules we've put back into this. It's time now for us to get into our second game of this match. Abyss taking on Regicide. So let's check out some highlights from game number 1.
Henchman jumps in, hook
He
shot
missed.
doesn't get to the wall. Rosie's up here as well. Triple stun from the cannon. ZZZ is running away. They will take down Yele, and Trenchman's forced to flash out. He's ghosting away. Suman is collapsing, still has plenty of mana.
Missed
Shockwave misses, and Suman cleans up, gets the first kill. Raid is trying to take it down with a lot of spears, but Rosie's probably going to fall
my
here.
goodness.
They collapse. Shutdown comes through, but Raid is so low. Here comes ZZ. Crank the arena, buddy. Slam the hammer down onto Raid. Winter's Bite does not connect. He's going to be able to get out just fine. Rosie, he's going to fall. Kato's in the back lines. They're stuck. Abyss have nowhere to run. And the Cataclysm destroys Raid. Good night, 80 carries. Where the heck are you running to, Abyss? ZZZ is going to herd you straight back to the base. Shockwave whiffs. Everyone's dead. And Regicide pick up an ace 26 minutes into the game. Oh, they jump in. That's a big initiative. But Luge, he shockwaves himself. Isn't going to matter, though, because already the
Here we
support's
go.
dead. ZZZ, come on and slam. Is able to trap them in the arena. And it's the duo of the solo lanes going to town. 2 on 3 isn't enough. Sonya's used. Rift Walk one more time. Gets the Quadra. He gets the Penta kill. Big play from Regicide. ZZZ jumps to the back lines. He gets a triple kill for himself. Only the cannon left is live inside the fountain. And Regicide
Will they
have
go
done
get
it.
him?
They're looking to try and pick up the Nexus, and they take game 1 over a bit.